Hi my beautiful subbies. So today I'm going to give you kind of an in-depth view on how I do my foundation and how I contour and highlight my face. I don't do anything too dramatic. As you can see, this is the finished product with all my makeup on and everything. I'm going to go in depth on how just to do the foundation, the contour, the highlight, the powders, the creams, everything that I use. So if you want to know how I do my foundation and how I contour and highlight for my lovely round face, just stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start with my primer, which is a new one that I just bought from Makeup Forever. It is a mattifying primer because my skin is pretty oily and it's summertime, so definitely need something that's going to wrangle in that oil. So just going to take a little bit on my fingertips and go ahead and apply that all over my face. So just dotting it over my face first, and then we're going to spread it in. Just using your fingers. You can feel this immediately drying up that oil that's in your face. So I think this is really good. The size that I got is just a sample size that I bought at Sephora just to try it out. Makeup Forever products are very good, but they are very expensive. So whenever they have the little sample areas like up at the front by the cash register, I like to get a couple of those first, check it out, see if I like it. And if I do, then maybe I'll go back and get the full price. We'll see. So primer's in. It has completely mattified my face, which is wonderful. Any extra little bits up at the forehead, and we're good. So the next thing I'm going to do is go in with my foundation. So because I am kind of in between super pale and slightly tanner, and as the summer goes on, I probably will get a little bit darker. I mean, I do use sunscreen. It's very important for your skin to use sunscreen and whatnot, but being out in the sun and, you know, being summertime and whatnot, you're going to get a little bit of color on your face and on your body. So I have two different colors of the new Maybelline Fit Me Matte Plus Poreless Normal to Oily Foundation. I have number 128 and 228, and I'm just going to do kind of a mix of both of these. I think I'm going to be, my perfect color would probably be right in the middle of these, but they did not have it at the Ulta that I went to, so I'm going to go and see if they have it soon and probably see if I can pick that up, because the 128 is just a little bit too light and sort of pink for me. I'm just going to dot it on all over. So I kind of just put that in the area that I would want to be more highlighted: forehead, cheeks, under eye, a little bit down the nose, a little bit on the chin. So basically all over. But I kind of just keep it centralized, kind of into the closer pieces of the parts of the face. Oh, that sounds gross. And then I take the 228 and I do that more on the outer edges of the face to kind of bring in a little bit of depth. As you can see, this one is definitely much more warm tone, more of a yellow tone, which would be more of what I need. Up here, around here. Obviously this is a ton of foundation, and I really only do this for special occasions. Otherwise, I pretty much go bareface. I mean, thankfully, I don't have a lot of skin issues. And besides it being oily, so a lot of times I'll put on like a mattifying primer, or maybe even just like carry some blotting powders or papers with me and just blot my face as the day goes on to remove any oil, any excess oil, because other than that I'm really not putting anything on my face. A little bit of blush, that's really it. So I'm going to go in with the Real Techniques Stippling Brush and just go ahead and blend all this out, starting with the inner portions of the face, the lighter stuff, and then working my way out. Now, gotta work pretty fast with this foundation. Don't want it to settle very quickly because this does dry quickly. It is mattifying. It does help control that oil. So you want to get in there and work fast. Make sure you really blend, blend, blend. Get up into the hairline. Go around the ears. Put a little bit on the ears if you can. Down the jaw. Really prevent that ugly mask line that I see a lot of girls have. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of girls, because when I was younger, we didn't have all these fabulous makeup tips now on YouTube. Still fairly new. And a lot of the girls, you know, the younger girls that were getting into makeup and whatnot, didn't have much instruction on how to apply their makeup, types of makeup that would be best for them. They just kind of, you know, just kind of went to the drugstore, went to the local Walgreens or whatever we had, looked at the makeup and was like, oh, this looks cute, let's get that. Looks close enough to our skin color. Or if you wanted to be, you know, tanner, you were like, oh, okay, I'll just get a color that's a little bit darker. But then everybody stopped putting their foundation right here, so there's always that huge line of like, hey, I'm really tan, I'm really pale. I'm really tan, I'm really pale. Blend. Remember to always blend. So blend down the neck, down the jawline, into the ear. Don't be afraid. Makeup washes off. You want a nice seamless look. Get it everywhere that you're going to see skin. All the way around. Mixing two colors also helps if you're kind of in between shades. You know, it helps you to obviously blend for your own shade, for your own skin tone, but it also helps to kind of give a little bit more dimension to your face so that it's not so flat and matte, especially if you're using a matte makeup. Because obviously our skin does have different tones and different shades throughout. Now, putting on makeup is supposed to help even that out, but we want to even out discolorations and any kind of imperfections that we might have, not necessarily flatten the tone and color of our face. So I think this is pretty well blended now. Got it all? Yeah. So now we're going to go and do a little bit of contouring. So I picked up these NYX Mineral Skin Foundation Sticks. I picked the first one up is in MSF04 and the other one is in MSF09. And I got these mostly to help with contouring since I'm fairly new at the contouring game. I just wanted to kind of try a couple of things out and see what works best for me. So the MSF09 is the darkest color that they have, which is caramel. And so I'm going to go ahead and just make my little contour lines. So because I have more of a round face and it's more wide across obviously here, what you want to do is usually you're going to make your contour line starting at your cheekbones to try and get your cheeks to be slightly more elevated looking and a sharper jaw or cheekbone line. For the round face you would want to go kind of through here at the temples and even around the top if you wanted to kind of bring that down, but I wouldn't go too far in because then as you're coming across, again, you're creating that look across my face. Is it circular? You don't want that. So you want to kind of stop. You want everything to kind of be more lengthened out. So bring your contour in a little bit, but don't go too far into the middle. Keep everything sort of linear so that you have your shadows coming in here. Your shadows are going to come in this way. And then you can do a little bit of the jawline too if you want, but not necessary as you're going to be doing most in here. It's your preference. Just offering some tips. So for me, you start up at the top of the ear if you want to draw like a line from the top of your ear that comes straight down to your mouth. You don't ever want to go too far in, all the way down into your mouth. You kind of want to stop right like at the line of your nose. And then some people even scoop up a little bit so that they can create an actual higher cheek. And so it looks like you have like, you know, higher apples of your cheeks. You can do that. It's up to you. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line through here. Turn so you can see. Starting up at the top of my ear and kind of swooping in a little bit. You see? swooping up a little. There we go. Got a little bit in my hair. Whoops, that's all right. Okay, and then same thing on the other side, starting at the top of the ear. I go a little bit higher just because I want the blend to come up to give me that higher jawline. I'm sorry, cheekbone. Why do I keep saying jawline? Silly. So bring it in, swoop it. Okay, now faces are not symmetrical. So as you can see here, this line is a little bit higher than this line. This cheekbone is a little bit higher than this one. So you can fake that with your contour. Make it a little bit more symmetrical. Sorry if I'm looking down, I'm looking into my mirror here. And if you make a mistake, you go in too far, just wipe it away. Very simple. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit to the temples here. And you can do a little bit in the nose if you want, a little contouring. To the sides. I do a little bit up here at the eyebrow. Kind of even out the nose contour. I don't want to do just the two straight lines down my nose. I don't need to draw attention to it. What I want to do is kind of draw the shadow in here so that it makes it look slimmer through the bridge, and then balance it up here at the eyebrows to give that full effect of a slimmer, more pert looking nose, if you will. And then you can go ahead and just blend that out, same stippling brush. Blending upwards here at the cheekbone so that you have the sharpest line at the lowest point of where you contoured, blending up to again provide that illusion of a stronger cheekbone line and a more rounded cheek. And again, blend it up into that hairline. And my voice just cracked. Blending that temple contour up here. Same on this side. Blend it up and into the hairline. And the contour here, we're going upwards, trying to keep that sharp line at the lowest point of the face so that you can get a nice sharp looking line there. Use more circular buffing motions as you come up and out. With a stronger contour towards the back here, fading nicely into the cheekbone area. We're going to come in the eyebrow here, blend that out. Now I haven't done any eyeshadow, eye makeup at this moment. This is just face shadowing and contouring. Blend, blend, blend. Okay, so underneath the nose there. Okay, so here we go. Got the shadow portion of the contour done. Next part we're going to do is the highlight. Okay, so I've cleaned my stippling brush fairly well. So after you do all that dark shadowing with the darker shade for contour, you want to make sure that you have a nice clean brush for your highlight so it doesn't get all muddled and gross. Okay, so now we're going to go into the Mineral Stick Foundation from NYX in the MSF 04, which is light medium. And this is going to be our highlight color. So again, we're going to want to try and highlight the higher points of the face. You're going to want to do kind of right on top of the cheekbones and that under eye area. You want to do the middle of the forehead. You want to do, if you want to do a little bit on the nose, you can. If you don't want to highlight your nose, don't highlight your nose. That's the beauty of makeup. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do a little bit of the chin if you want. If you want to downplay your chin, you make it darker. If you want to highlight that area, you make it lighter. Very simple rules of highlight and contour. So we're going to do a little bit in like a fan motion here at the forehead. Again, because my face is rounder and I want to do more of a linear, rather than going all the way up and out with the highlight under my eye, I'm going to keep it kind of right underneath my eyes. So I'm going to do more of like a triangle, kind of a clown triangle underneath my eye. So I'm going to keep it kind of light, kind of thin, I should say. Just straight down. Then you're going to do just the teeniest bit down the bridge of the nose, and then kind of an opposite fan look down here at the chin. Okay, so again, keeping everything on me, I want to keep it sort of centered and in kind of a straighter line in my face, so that I do not have this highlight of width to emphasize the circular roundness of my face. I want to make it more oval shape and slimmer looking. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this in now. Start up here. Just circular motions, buffing it in, bring it down nose, over at the tip. Pulling it out just a little bit, because I do not want, again, that width of the forehead there. A lot of people use a beauty blender at this point. I don't want too much of a harsh contour or highlight. I want it to be more of a natural looking highlight. I'm not trying to change a ton of features on my face, just trying to provide some nice offset balance of light and dark. I've seen some girls do some amazing work with contouring and highlighting and really just change the whole shape of the face, which is phenomenal. True mastery. Makeup artists are just that, artists. Never forget that, people. Okay, so we've got pretty much everything blended. So now under eyes are highlighted, top of the forehead is highlighted, the chin is highlighted, and just a little bit of onset of light at the nose to kind of balance out the shadowing that we did on the sides and at the top. Everything's nice and blended in. Make sure you go over everything again with your stippling brush. Ta-da! So there you go. There's your highlighted and contoured face with the creams. So now I'm going to go in and add just a little bit more brightness underneath the eye using the NYX HD Photogenic Concealer in the color Glow. And just a little bit right underneath the eye. And with this, I'm going to go a little bit over the Cupid's bow to just highlight the upper lip area a little bit. It makes it give the appearance of fullness as the light will be reflecting off of the top lip. It gives you that illusion of a poutier, bigger lip. And then we're going to go ahead and blend in here. With this, I'm just going to do kind of more patting motions just to spread the product around a little bit with the stippling brush. And then I'm going to go in with my finger, and then just with the warmth of my finger, help to blend it in a little bit more, make sure it doesn't settle into those lovely fine lines we have underneath our eyes. Well, I have underneath my eyes. So take your ring finger, which is your weakest finger and will be the most delicate on that under eye skin, and just again patting motions underneath the eye. You look up so you can get best coverage underneath there. Just go over, really pressing the product in. You don't want to sweep it around too much. Really get into that inner corner where a lot of darkness can linger, a lot of shadow from if you have dark under eye circles. And just keep patting until everything looks fairly nice blended. And then same on the other side, ring finger. The warmth of your finger will help to kind of melt the product in, so to speak. And again, just patting motions, just pat, pat. Don't smear it, don't spread it around. It's not peanut butter. Look up and just keep it going. Just adds a little bit of brightness underneath the eye to get that area looking beautiful and awake, like you slept all night. So now all of our creams, all of our liquids have been applied. Now you want to set everything in place and make sure that we do not have any movement or sliding around of the products, especially if you have an oilier face. If you have more normal or dry skin, you might want to leave it this way and not even do powdering, so that you can have that kind of more of a dewy, less dry complexion or skin, whatever. And since I am oily, I am going to pat it all down. I do suggest though that whatever you put on your under eye, you should always attempt to at least set that. If you're not going to set your entire face, at least set your under eye, because you will get the most creasing and crinkling of the skin under there, as your eyes are very emotive as you're laughing, talking, speaking, when you're blinking, etc., etc. And the creams and liquids do tend to settle under there, so make sure that you at least set that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that first. I'm going to use an e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush to go ahead and set under there, and I'm going to use my Rimmel Stay Matte powder. The HD powders are really good to help set your concealer. However, if you're going to be going out and taking a lot of pictures with flash, if you're going out at night or anything like that, remember that those HD powders sometimes tend to have that flashback, and you'll get that really ugly white powdery look right underneath your eyes. So also, if you use anything with SPF, that will also create flashbacks. So really beware of those products that you're going to use if you know that you're going somewhere where you're going to be taking a lot of photos with flash. So that's why I tend to stay away from those when I know I'm going to go out somewhere. And using my Rimmel Stay Matte powder, or any kind of really just matte powder, is going to help you with that. Anything that's not super light reflecting or has any mica or anything like that will be the best idea for setting under eye makeup. So with the brush, I'm just going to go in and pat, again looking up, pat the under eye area with your powder. Make sure that you're not sweeping around, moving those products around. You want to set them into place. You don't want them to be swirling around. You don't need a whole lot, you just need enough to make sure that the area gets nice and locked in place. Just get that whole area. Okay. The other side. Look up. That clicking you're hearing is me tapping off the excess, especially around the eyes. I wear contacts. I don't want a whole lot of powder getting up in my eye area. It can be very irritating. So just tap off the excess and get in there. This is the shade Silky Beige, by the way, 005. It's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, so you can see adds a little bit of a brightening effect as well. I've yet to try the contouring palettes from Anastasia Beverly Hills, or Kat Von D has one. I heard that hers is really great. The only things that I've heard negative about the Anastasia is that they might be a little bit less blendable in comparison to the Kat Von D palette, which I heard a lot of people are talking wonderful things about, have heard good reviews. A pro with the Anastasia palette is that you can remove the little the colors and replace them, so they are refillable pans. Fortunately with the Kat Von D you can't. So that stinks on that part, but you know, try them out on your own. There's plenty of reviews on there on each one, and you can figure out which one is best for you. So now I'm going to go ahead and set the contour shadow portion with some bronzer, and I'm going to use the NYX matte bronzer in medium. And this is a new brush that I picked up from Sephora. It is the Multitasker contour brush. You can see there it is flat, dome shaped, and very, very dense with kind of an angle to the brush, you can see. So it does a really good job at fitting right into those contour creases of the cheekbones and at the jawline, even in the forehead, down the nose even. Great for that. So I'm going to take it with the angle portion pointing up, because again I want that harsher, well, I don't want to say harsher, but the more intensely pigmented area of the shadow to be at the lowest portion when you're doing your cheekbone, and you want it to blend up softly. So you want the most pigment there and then blend up. So we're going to start pretty much at the top of the ear, starting at the back of the temple here, and just pushing it up, bringing it up, press it, bring it up, and then you can flip it to the flat side and brush it up. So then at the forehead, I'm going to start right at the temple with the angled portion of the brush pointing downwards like this, so that most of the product is placed near the hairline, and then I'm blending it in. And then with the flat side, just kind of sweep. Sweep it up and out, get it nice and blended. So you have a nice contour area there. Still kind of harsh right now, but you will go in with your face powder later and blend it all out. So same thing on this side, starting up with the ear here, the temple, with the angled side up so that your pigment is dropped deepest at the bottom portion of the line, of your cheekbone line, and blend it up. Starting at the temple as you're working your way up and working your way down into the forehead, into the eyebrow area. Okay. You're doing that reverse C, as they always say. Bring it in, sweep it up. Okay. We're going to go over that eyebrow area here, just dab a little bit. Then with that flat side, blend it out. And then down at the nose here. And slightly underneath. There you go. Then what I like to do, personal preference for me, I like to kind of create more of a rounder area here, again, to kind of create that linear look that I want instead of that width of the face. So I like to contour around the chin just with the powder, not with the cream necessarily, and just kind of come around, kind of trying to create that like butt chin. No, wait, that's not a butt chin. Butt chin is here. What's it called? I don't know. Just want to give more of the illusion of a angular jaw. Okay, so all of that is now powdered down. We've contoured with the powder, highlighted and pressed everything down. So now we're just going to go over with a big fluffy brush. This is the Real Techniques powder brush. And I'm going to use a little bit of my Stay Matte, again, the Rimmel. Stay Matte from Rimmel. And just kind of powder everything down and just sort of blend everything together to make sure you don't have any harsh lines. You don't want any real, you know, abrupt lines of contour or highlight or anything like that. Because you want the appearance of a more angular face, but you don't want it to be like, boom, bronzer, contour, boom, highlighter, you know, boom, white, whatever. So I'm just pressing first to get the powder in there. Set the stuff a little bit. Going over everything. Again, I am oily, so I powder my whole face down with this lovely Stay Matte powder. Prevent any oil. So then now I've got the powder in, and I'm going to just swish and buff and blend over any harsh areas of the contour to make sure that everything is nicely blended together. Especially down the neck, up towards the hairline and into the ears, around the forehead. And there we go. So basic foundation face, using a little bit of contour and highlight, some cream products, some powder products. You guys feel free to use whatever you have. I used a mix of drugstore. My primer was Makeup Forever, so a little bit higher end. And there's a lot of different options out there. This is what I do right now. This is what I like. It's not a super strict, super defining contour highlight. It's more natural, everyday kind of a deal that you can do. Even bump it up a little bit for special occasions. All you have to do is, you know, add a little bit darker contour, add more highlight. Do whatever you feel. Looks good, feels great. Just giving you an idea as to the techniques that I use. So I hope you liked this video. And I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face so that you can see everything in completion.